When you talk about the greatest athletes ever in triathlon, I feel everyone's go-to answer is the likes of Frodeno, Alistair Brownlee, Mark Allen, even Kristian Blumenfelt. And honestly, if somebody had asked me, my exact answer would have been one of those guys. In fact, I got asked this about a week ago and I said Frodeno. But really, when you look into it, in my opinion, none of those guys are the greatest. It's undeniable Frodeno's had an extremely dominant career, winning Olympic titles, World Championship titles, pretty much everything there is to win underneath the sun. But he still had off days, missed opportunities, and failed to perform in certain races. Yes, it could be argued this was due to him not being at his best and potentially being ill, but that's just being a human being. This doesn't change the fact he's had such a phenomenal career, and he continues to do so well even now. But I feel there's other athletes that have done more than this. Blumenfelt, again, he's had a great few years, winning pretty much everything he could have apart from a few races. Within this though, he's also made some mistakes, even if not 100% his own fault with mechanical issues, they've still happened. But for me, the GOAT has to be Chrissie Wellington, and I would find it very hard for anybody to disagree with this. By the way, if you do, let me know down below in the comments, I'd be really interested to know why this is. To start with, she holds the fastest ever Ironman time of 8 hours, 18 minutes and 13 seconds at Challenge Roth in 2011. It's just so incredibly fast, it's insane. Within this as well, she also clocks a 2:44 marathon. Now, there's some pro male athletes nowadays in 2022 that struggle to do that. So to be able to do that back then and be a female is just incredible, and you've got to just give her so much kudos for that. Now, since then, there has been so much technological change, understanding of aerodynamics, and honestly, the equipment difference between 2011 and now is just night and day, and I want to put a lot of emphasis on this because it makes a real difference. I mean, look at Chrissie's bike here. It's something you could find nowadays on Facebook Marketplace for a very small price in the scheme of things. If we compare this to, say, Lara Phillips' bike, which is the Canyon Speedmax, or Blumenfelt's Giant, which look like legitimate spaceships, the fact that Wellington hasn't been obliterated since 2011 is nothing short of spectacular. She holds a great position, but when compared to the best guys nowadays, you can clearly see the difference in the time we now spend in wind tunnels, labs, and just obsessing over every minute detail. Chrissie didn't get access to all this tech and scientific knowledge we have now, and certainly wasn't testing lactate every session like the Norwegians are at the moment. Kristian Blumenfelt has also come out recently and declared that he's spending around £10,000 a year on lactate strips. It's just insane. The whole sport has developed massively since Chrissie was around. Really, she was at a huge disadvantage to these guys now, and honestly, I'm genuinely surprised her records haven't been absolutely smashed and beaten, especially because triathlon is such a tech-driven sport reliant on equipment. On top of this, she has never been beaten over the Ironman distance across her entire career, and within this, she's won 4 Kona titles and had 31 total wins. You know, this is just incredible and unheard of in pretty much any sport. Her wins were not just handed to her either. She too had off days, falls, mechanical issues and obstacles she had to overcome while racing. She was plagued by punctures on a few occasions and still managed to pull through and win, one of which being in Kona against the best in the world. She was truly dominating, and in some races putting 50 plus minutes into second place, really cementing her name in the history books, and honestly just completely obliterating everybody around her. During her career, she held 3 world records, one of which we know is still standing now, and she is the only athlete in the history of the sport, male or female, to have won the World Championships less than a year after turning pro. An almost impossible task deemed remarkable. I mean, this is just incredible. There is nobody, in my opinion, who has done what she has done and been in form in every big important race. The only thing she hasn't got is an Olympic title, where she chose to leave Olympic ambitions behind and focus purely on the long stuff. To me, if she had an Olympic title, her name would be 100% solidified as the greatest triathlete of all time. Honestly, I still think regardless of this, she was in a different league throughout her entire career, and if she isn't the greatest triathlete of all time, she is certainly the greatest long-distance Ironman triathlete to grace this earth. Her swim, bike, run caliber is just insane. To me, she doesn't have any major weaknesses, and her overall ability is just superb. I really believe she's a once-in-a-generation athlete. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, drop it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.